educational freedom. I think we are all aware of the new policy that came up 2 3 weeks back, that is National Education Policy 2020. Since then, there have been a lot of discussions or debate around the policy. I am just here to tell you about the history of that policy and the policies which came prior National Education Policy 2020. So let's see. Firstly, that policy was introduced by Indira Gandhi government in 1968. National Policy on Education 1968. Later on, the same policy with major changes came up on 1986 by Rajiv Gandhi's government, that is National Policy on Education NPE 1986. After that, the same document was edited and modified by the government led by P.V. Narasimha Rao in 1992. After that, there was no change in the document, and in the year 2019, the government led by Narendra Modi released a draft NEP, that is Draft National Education Policy 2019. After that, few weeks back in the year 2020, Narendra Modi government passed it and made it as National Education Policy 2020. By this time, most of us have been familiar with the advantages and disadvantages and what are the several recommendations of that policy. But I think before discussing all these things about 2020 policy, we need to know the history of the policy and what were all the recommendations at that time and what is happening this time. In this video, I'll be discussing about the policy that is made on 1968, National Policy on Education 1968 by Indira Gandhi. The government came up with this National Education Policy on 1968 with major recommendations. Let's see the recommendations one by one. First, it spoke about the free and compulsory education for all children up to the age of 14. Then they spoke about the status, pay and education of teachers. Since then they have been talking about the same thing. It tells that teacher must hold an honorable place in the society. Their pay should be adequate and satisfactory. And they also spoke about the academic freedom should be given to the teachers to speak or write about the national and international issues. Teachers' education in service training should be provided. Later on, it talks about the development of languages. It spoke about the regional language development and three language policy when in the year 1968. Then they also spoke about promoting Hindi, Sanskrit and international languages. Later on, it comes to equalization of educational opportunities in rural and backward areas, women education, common schools and public schooling system, backward people and tribal people, minority education, special education and inclusion of handicapped children in regular schools. Then they spoke about the identification of talent and they tell that identification of talent should happen as early as possible. Then they spoke about the science education and research should be given high priority. Math and science should be integral part of general education till end of the school stage, that is till 10th grade. Maths and science should be the integral part. Later on they talk about the education for agriculture and industries. Agricultural university should be at least one in one state and industries they should have practical education. And they also spoke about the examination. The aim of examination is to help the students to improve their level of achievement rather than certifying. This has been there since 1968, not only now. And they also spoke about the uniform structure for education all over the country, that is 10 plus 2 plus 3. They also spoke about the aim of the policy. They told that the aim of the policy is to gradually increase the investment in education to reach a level of expenditure of 6% of national income as early as possible, when in the year of 1968. They told they need to increase the investment in education. Then the government also declared that it is not going to be an easy task. Center will be guiding and helping the state to implement all these programs for national improvement. The government of India also told that the government will review each and every 5 years the progress made and recommend guidelines for the future development. These were the main points that were discussed in the National Education Policy or National Policy of Education 1968. It is an 8-page document available in internet released by our Indian government. Anyone can find it easily when you Google NPE 1968. If you want to have more details, you can download and read it. It's a very small document and easily understandable. Interested people can go and get the document and read it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.